13번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Every event that causes you to smile makes you feel happy and produces feel-good chemicals in your brain. Force your face to smile even when you are stressed or feel unhappy. The facial muscular pattern produced by the smile is linked to all the happy networks in your brain and will in turn naturally calm you down and change your brain chemistry by releasing the same feel-good chemicals. Researchers studied the effects of a genuine and forced smile on individuals during a stressful event. The researchers had participants perform stressful tasks while not smiling, or holding chopsticks crossways in their mouths to force the face to form a smile. The results of the study showed that smiling, forced or genuine, during stressful events reduced the intensity of the stress response in the body and lowered heart rate levels. After recovering from the stress.
14번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Our ability to accurately recognize and label emotions is often referred to as emotional granularity. In the words of Harvard psychologist Susan David, learning to label emotions with a more nuanced vocabulary can be absolutely transformative. David explains that if we don't have a rich emotional vocabulary, it is difficult to communicate our needs and to get the support that we need from others. But those who are able to distinguish between a range of various emotions do much better at managing the ups and downs of ordinary existence than those who see everything in black and white. In fact, research shows that the process of labeling emotional experience is related to greater emotion regulation and psychosocial well-being.
15번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Consumers are generally uncomfortable with taking high risks. As a result, they are usually motivated to use a lot of strategies to reduce risk. Consumers can collect additional information by conducting online research, reading news articles, talking to friends or consulting an expert. Consumers also reduce uncertainty by buying the same brand that they did the last time, believing that the product should be at least as satisfactory as their last purchase. In addition, some consumers may employ a simple decision rule that results in a safer choice. For example, someone might buy the most expensive offering or choose a heavily advertised brand in the belief that this brand has higher quality than other brands.
16번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Near an honesty box, in which people placed coffee fund contributions. Researchers at Newcastle University in the UK alternately displayed images of eyes and of flowers. Each image was displayed for a week at a time. During all the weeks in which eyes were displayed, bigger contributions were made than during the weeks when flowers were displayed. Over the 10 weeks of the study, contributions during the eyes weeks were almost 3 times higher than those made during the flowers weeks. It was suggested that the evolved psychology of cooperation is highly sensitive to subtle cues of being watched, and that the findings may have implications for how to provide effective nudges toward socially beneficial outcomes.
17번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
In modern times, society became more dynamic. Social mobility increased, and people began to exercise a higher degree of choice regarding, for instance, their profession, their marriage, or their religion. This posed a challenge to traditional roles in society. It was less evident that one needed to commit to the roles one was born into when alternatives could be realized. Increasing control over one's life choices became not only possible but desired. Identity then became a problem. It was no longer almost ready-made at birth but something to be discovered. Traditional role identities prescribed by society began to appear as masks imposed on people, whose real self was to be found somewhere underneath.
18번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Diversity, challenge, and conflict help us maintain our imagination. Most people assume that conflict is bad, and that being in one's comfort zone is good. That is not exactly true. Of course, we don't want to find ourselves without a job or medical insurance, or in a fight with our partner, family, boss, or coworkers. One bad experience can be sufficient to last us a lifetime, but small disagreements with family and friends, trouble with technology, or finances, or challenges at work and at home can help us think through our own capabilities. Problems that need solutions force us to use our brains in order to develop creative answers. Navigating landscapes that are varied, that offer trials and occasional conflicts, is more helpful to creativity than hanging out in landscapes that pose no challenge to our senses and our minds. Our 2-million-year history is packed with challenges and conflicts.
19번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
In a competitive environment, such as a college admissions process or a job application situation, almost everyone has strong qualifications. Almost everyone has facts in their favor. But how valuable are facts alone? Think back to the most recent lecture or presentation you attended. How many facts do you remember from it? If you're like most people, you can't recall many, if any. Chances are good, however, that you remember stories, anecdotes, and examples from the event, even if you can't think of their exact context. The average person today is flooded with facts and data, and we let most of this pass through our brains with minimal retention or reaction. Unless something makes the information stand out in a meaningful way, that's where story comes in.
20번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
The often used phrase pay attention is insightful. You dispose of a limited budget of attention that you can allocate to activities. And if you try to go beyond your budget, you will fail. It is the mark of effortful activities that they interfere with each other, which is why it is difficult or impossible to conduct several at once. You could not compute the product of 17 times 24 while making a left turn into dense traffic, and you certainly should not try. You can do several things at once, but only if they are easy and undemanding. You are probably safe carrying on a conversation with a passenger while driving on an empty highway, and many parents have discovered, perhaps with some guilt, that they can read a story to a child while thinking of something else.
21번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Have you ever brought up an idea or suggestion to someone and heard them immediately say no, that won't work? You may have thought, she didn't even give it a chance. How do they know it won't work? When you are right about something, you close off the possibility of another viewpoint or opportunity. Being right about something means that it is the way it is, period. You may be correct. Your particular way of seeing it may be true with the facts. However, considering the other option, or the other person's point of view, can be beneficial. If you see their side, you will see something new or, at worse, learn something about how the other person looks at life. Why would you think everyone sees and experiences life the way you do? Besides, how boring that would be. It would eliminate all new opportunities, ideas, invention, and creativity.
22번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Success can lead you off your intended path and into a comfortable rut. If you are good at something and are well rewarded for doing it, you may want to keep doing it even if you stop enjoying it. The danger is that one day you look around and realize you're so deep in this comfortable rut that you can no longer see the sun or breathe fresh air. The sides of the rut have become so slippery that it would take a superhuman effort to climb out and, effectively, you're stuck. And it's a situation that many working people worry they're in now. The poor employment market has left them feeling locked in what may be a secure, or even well-paying but ultimately unsatisfying job.
23번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
Few people will be surprised to hear that poverty tends to create stress. A 2006 study published in the American journal Psychosomatic Medicine, for example, noted that a lower socioeconomic status was associated with higher levels of stress hormones in the body. However, richer economies have their own distinct stresses. The key issue is time pressure. A 1999 study of 31 countries by American psychologist Robert Levine and Canadian psychologist Era Norenzayan found that wealthier, more industrialized nations had a faster pace of life, which led to a higher standard of living, but at the same time left the population feeling a constant sense of urgency, as well as being more prone to heart disease. In effect, fast-paced productivity creates wealth, but it also leads people to feel time poor when they lack the time to relax and enjoy themselves.
24번. 다음 글의 제목으로 가장 적절한 것은?
We think we are shaping our buildings. But really, our buildings and development are also shaping us. One of the best examples of this is the oldest known construction, the ornately carved rings of standing stones at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Before these ancestors got the idea to erect standing stones, some 12,000 years ago, they were hunter-gatherers. It appears that the erection of the multiple rings of megalithic stones took so long, and so many successive generations, that these innovators were forced to settle down to complete the construction works. In the process, they became the first farming society on Earth. This is an early example of a society constructing something that ends up radically remaking the society itself. Things are not so different in our own time.